The IWI Masada Tactical, let's check it out. The IWI Masada was introduced in 2017. It's a full-size 9mm striker fire pistol. Masada means fortress in Hebrew, but it was also a very famous fort that stood against the Romans back during the time when the Romans occupied Israel. This is a combat weapon. I mean, these are made for combat. But now they've introduced their tactical model. This has a threaded barrel. It has suppressor height sights. There's some other features to it. And we're going to take a look at the new IWI Tactical Masada. IWI sent the Tactical Masada for this review, and guys, they are serious about weapon technology in Israel, and it really shows with this pistol. Masada stands for fortress in Hebrew, and of course this is made by IWI, which is the weapons manufacturer in Israel. In fact, is Israel weapons industry. They've made the Galil, the Uzi, the Tavor, I mean some of the legendary firearms that have come out of Israel. And then we have the Masada. Now this was introduced a number of years ago, and they have now upgraded to the tactical model. Pretty much this is a threaded barrel that's been extended. So let's go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded. We're going to drop our 17+1 magazine, and we're going to check the chamber. One of the things about the 17-round magazine is in typical sizes for this kind of pistol, it's usually a 15-round magazine, unless you go with the Glock 17. And then you get 2 magazines, very high quality. One of the things about this magazine is that when it fits up into the frame, you have that area where you can grab that out if you have any kind of malfunctions, which is important. Also, this is a fully ambidextrous pistol. Ambidextrous mag release, even on the other side, ambidextrous slide stops on either side, and of course your takedown levers right here. Now the frame is actually an injected molded fiberglass frame, which a lot of firearms have that. Makes it really strong. Then we have, of course, a steel slide and barrel. This is a stainless steel barrel, and I'm sure that the slide itself is stainless as well. Has a really nice finish on it. And the slide is milled from one piece of bar stock. Front and rear cocking serrations that are fairly wide, so they're really easy to grab. And then we have a Picatinny rail with the 4 points, and you have serrations on the front of the trigger guard, which is squared off. Texturing on the grip is very nicely done. Of course, it's that laser etched texturing, which seems to be the rage, and it does very well. But you do get additional back straps, and this is the medium back strap. But we also have a large and a small, and there's a pin right here. You drive it through, and then you can attach that back strap. Fairly low bore axis, and on this particular model, we have night sights on the back, and they are blacked out. And then we have a front sight with a white dot, and these are suppressor height sights. And of course, obviously that has a lot to do with the threaded barrel if you're going to put on a suppressor. And then we have an optics plate. So this is the ORP, which means optics ready pistol. Now it does come with 4 different adapter plates, and each one is marked RMR, Venom, Romeo 1, and the Delta Point. And these are polymer. I love that they're identified, because that can be a real issue sometimes trying to identify them. And of course it does come with extra screws to be able to install any of these plates. But obviously you can leave the cover plate on here and you can shoot it as is, so it just gives you a lot of options. Now the barrel is stainless steel, but it's cold hammer forged. Again, it's threaded 1/2 by 28 threads. And this is going to give you extended wear on the barrel. The length is 4.6 inches. Now on the standard Masada, it's 4.1 inches, which really gets it around the size of the Glock 19. But the Masada is really more based on the size of the Glock 17. And here we have our Glock 17. You do get 17 rounds in the magazine. Of course, the chamber's empty, and we have a Wheaton Arms competition barrel. But otherwise, this is a stock handgun. Now, one thing I want to show you is just the size difference. They are pretty much exactly identical as far as length, both 17 rounds. When it comes to the front, you have a little shorter slide, but with this barrel protruding out, it's going to give you a little more barrel length. And the bore axis on the Masada is just a little bit higher than your Glock. Of course, the Glock is one of the lowest bore axes out there. But then with those Suppressor Height Sights, it brings it up some. But with the standard Masada, of course, it's going to be a little bit lower. But one of the biggest differences is the grip. And with the Glock, it's more squared off. With the Masada, it's more contoured from the back out. And so it gives it a little more ergonomic feel to it, a little bit of an advantage. With the Masada, feels really natural in your hand. One thing I've compared this to, and actually have done a review with the HK VP9 and the Masada, and it really has more of those characteristics of the way the grip feels. Actually a little thinner because the VP9 has palm swells. But with the Glock, it's a lot more squared off. But guys, I'm a huge Glock fan. I've been shooting Glocks for years. So while I'm stating the differences, the Glock is still a great gun. And the barrel on the Masada has button rifling. Now, one of the big pluses for the IWI Masada is that it has a chassis system that's built in. So that is your firearm. You can switch out the grip shells. It's very easy. It is removable, and the serial number is on the chassis itself. It is a stainless steel piece. We'll take a look at that when we break it down, but that's one of the things about the Masada that kind of sets itself apart from a lot of other guns. Now, obviously, there's the SIG P320 that has the chassis system, and there are others. But it's one of the big things about the Masada, and plus the price is considerably less than some of those, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, this comes in the black. It also comes in the FDE, and it comes in an OD green frame. And again, those can be switched out because this is a chassis system. So you can change this out to different barrel lengths, different slide lengths, and that way you're not purchasing a whole separate gun, but you can adapt this to whatever size. Now, at this point right now, they're only making either the full-size Masada or the Tactical, but definitely there'll be plans to make other configurations. Now, here we have the original Masada. This is with a 4.1 inch barrel, again really close to the Glock 19 in barrel length, so it's a little bit shorter than your 17, but the biggest difference is this longer barrel, which gives you that 4.6 inch barrel, and the Suppressor Height Sights. Honestly, they're pretty much identical otherwise, so this just gives you more advantages with the threaded barrel for compensators, but really for suppressors. Now, the trigger has your safety, which is what is typical coming with striker fire pistols, and it makes it nice to block it. If you hit that trigger anywhere other than depressing that safety, it's not going to fire. As far as the trigger action, you depress it, there's take up right about to there, a little bit of stacking, but not a lot, and then a nice little crisp snap. Reset. Right there. A little farther out than some, but you're back on it. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds 6 ounces. 4 pounds 10.5 ounces. Weight on the Masada Tactical. 1 pound 10 ounces, or 26 ounces. We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA, and one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. Also, we appreciate Lula Loaders for saving our thumbs. Also, Lula Loaders are made in Israel, and so is the Masada. It's a good combination. We took the Masada Tactical ORP down to the range. We decided not to put a red dot on it because this is the way you're going to get it. and we wanted to shoot it that way. Especially the Suppressor Height Sights, we wanted to see how they function without the red dot. It will co-witness with your red dot, so that makes it really nice. I mean, it's really a backup sight. Then you have your threaded barrel. Definitely, you can put any kind of suppressors on there, and it works really well, 1/2x28 threads. And so that gives this an advantage. And then with the Suppressor Height Sights, you're able to have sights over your suppressor as well. The controls stick out just a little more than your standard Glock, but that makes them easier to get to. I didn't have really any problems deactivating the slide stop when I was firing. It sits back enough, and so if anything, I might hit the takedown lever, but that gives me a little bit of recoil mitigation on the firearm. The grip, it's a nice textured grip. It's not too aggressive next to your skin, and yet when you grab it, it goes all the way around, and it just feels really solid when you're shooting. And we had no malfunctions, which we expected. We didn't have them with the first Masada. It just shoots really well. It's a very pointable handgun. It is full size, so when you're shooting it, I mean, this is a combat handgun, and again, it can be used in tactical applications, especially with the threaded barrel. So overall, just like the original Masada, we had a great range day. And we really appreciate Robbie from Wheaton Arms for bringing down the suppressor for us to do the testing and to get a feel for how it fires, also how those sights will work with the suppressor. All right, for disassembly, let's drop our magazine, make sure the gun is unloaded. First thing I want to do is to bring back your slide into slide stop position. And then we bring down our lever, and then we release our slide stop, and then we pull the trigger, and then we can just remove the upper assembly. Now, before you can take the barrel out, we're going to go ahead and remove our threads off of our barrel. Remove our recoil spring and guide rod, which it's all steel with the flat coils on the spring. Now, with the 4.6-inch barrel threaded, it is a little difficult to pull out of here, and one thing I've done is just take it and give it a little bit of push like that, and then it comes right out. And then when you're putting it in, it's actually a little easier just to push with your thumb. But everything's well done. It's typical for IWI. It's a little bit different. There's a lot of relief cuts, so it makes this slide fairly lightweight. It's going to be less mass coming back during recoil. You have your striker safety right here to protect you from if you drop the pistol, but just very well done. And of course, here with the frame, this is your chassis system that goes all the way through. Take your takedown lever and just start to pull it, and it kind of pops out. You have to kind of finagle it like that and get it out. Then we take it and lift it up from the front, and then it comes out of the back. And this is your pistol. This is the firearm. And the serial number is listed right back here on the back. So this is going to allow you to change this out. Different grip shells. If you like green, go with green. If you want FDE, or if they do come up with more compact sizes or even long slide versions, this is going to allow you to fit those in there. But overall, it's just a very nice piece. This is not something that you're going to have to take out with regular maintenance, but you can take this out and clean it if you want. Now, to reinsert your chassis into your frame, you need to push back on the trigger. Then we're going to come in and enter into the rear of the frame with the chassis, and then this spring, you're going to have to take some kind of pick or punch here. We're going to go into this little cavity where the spring fits, just like that. And this allows you to bring your chassis all the way down. It takes a little bit of finagling, but it's not really that difficult. And then we take our takedown pin and just start maneuvering it in until we hear a click. Just like that. Now we're going to bring the lever back down so we can reattach our slide. Go ahead and pop your barrel in, and again, just a little bit of a trick, but you just push forward on it. Just like that, and it pops in. It's a tight fit, but that's just the way it is. And then we're going to bring in our recoil spring and then bring back our slide. Go into slide lock, bring your lever up, drop it. Don't forget your thread protector. And we're pretty much good to go. And check for function. A little bit more difficult. The longer barrel does add a little bit of complexity to it, but you know, it's not that difficult. When I first tried it, it was a little more difficult. When I actually gave it a little bit of force, it just popped out. Now the Masada Tactical comes in a cardboard box, and of course closed foam padding. You get your extra back straps, you get two 17-round magazines. Of course you get your adapter plates for any of your optics. And then of course the pistol, threaded barrel. I mean, it's just a nice little package, but this also helps with the price. The retail price on the Masada Tactical is $480. When you compare that to the Glock 17 MOS Gen 5, retail price is $649. And that's without the threaded barrel or the Suppressor Height Sights. And then too with the chassis system. So honestly, there's so many different features to this pistol, and the price brings it down to be a very reasonable option. So market price is typically going to be less. And guys, with so many different polymer striker fire pistols out of the market, why choose the IWI? Well, first off, IWI has a great reputation for making firearms for the Israeli military, and very battle proven and tested. A lot of great features, but one of the big things to me, and one of the big pluses, is the chassis system. Take that in and out. Again, you have a lot of adaptability when it comes to this pistol. Also, with the threaded barrel, gives you options for suppressors, or even some kind of compensator if that's what you like. The Suppressor Height Sights are high, but you're getting that because of the threaded barrel. Personally, I like lower sights, but this will also co-witness with your red dot. So that's also a plus, and you don't have to go out and get Suppressor Height Sights for this pistol. The ergonomics are excellent, very nice bore axis. It's not too low. Again, not quite as low as a Glock, but still fairly low to the hand. The trigger is very nice. I mean, it's not a VP9 trigger, it's not a PPQ trigger, but it is definitely more crisp than your Glock. You have 17+1 in the magazine, so it is a more full-size pistol, but I'm sure that compact sizes will be coming. And then the price. I mean, that is probably one of the biggest things outside of the chassis that give you a lot of advantages. I mean, $480 MSRP, and then getting it for considerably less makes this a very attractive polymer frame pistol that has a lot of quality. So guys, if you're looking for a full-size handgun, the Masada is a great gun in itself. If you're looking for a suppressor host, or you just want something that you can put an optic on and still have those Suppressor Height Sights, this works great as well. The gun itself, high quality firearm, and the price is really reasonable. And again, we really appreciate IWI for sending the Masada Tactical and adding this to my collection. It's going to go great with the other Masada. If I want to throw on a suppressor, I can. Throw on a red dot, throw on lights, lasers. I mean, it gives you a lot of options. And this is great for home defense. Now, we really appreciate Sportsman's Guide for being one of our sponsors. And they give a $20 off every $100 or more purchase using Sootch, no 00. And they have all kind of outdoor related, camping, hiking, firearms, you name it, they've got it. But one thing that I use them probably the most for is their military surplus from around the world. And if you join their buyers club, you get a better price and you get free shipping on most items. So check out Sportsman's Guide. It's a great resource. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. But you also have a large and a small, and you just, We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo. Oh. We appreciate him sponsoring the ammo. If I could just load it.
Well, you could have unloaded it.
I did unload it. I said it was a thing.
Yeah, fumble around.
It's a fumble. I'm not even sure. And it's from the Holy Land.